Welcome to a live stream with Zzenn. For the next 2 hours, maybe more, join Zzenn for some stimulating analysis on New Age woo. Bring your questions. Prepare your comments for a live stream with Zzenn.
Well, hello, everybody. Dun, 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 dun. Ha! Well, hello. We have two people here. How are you two doing? So the two of you, oh, now we have four, immediately may be seething with envy as your eyes fall upon my shirt. I want you to know that you'll be okay. Someday you'll have a shirt like this, maybe. But I will share it to your eyeballs, and you can just be envious of my shirt. Actually, I was given this by a friend, and I thought I'd wear it this morning. Kind of light and, cool and stuff. Hey, Richard Alpert and Sid Vitch. How's it going, Ming? So, hope everybody's week was good. Hey, Mario Heat. Good to see you. Hope y'all have your coffee. Get your coffee. I found out I can't drink coffee anymore because of my prostate. TMI. So it is cacao and almond milk. Oh, I forgot the cinnamon. Hold on. Folks, I have got to go get the cinnamon. I'm sorry. Has to happen. So the trick is no sugar. You want to have some good oils, fish oils, stuff. And I finally slept last night a full night because I did a few changes in my diet. And things feel better now. Everybody get your coffee. I'm going to go through some interesting news stories, and then I have a couple directions I could go this morning, but it should be interesting either way. Let me just get my drink prepared for the journey as we all head out together into the unspiritual waters, the adventure, as we primates together hop on the ship and explore new vistas of primatehood. Ooh, primates are bad. Bad. Don't say you're a primate, even though it's the total truth. Let's stay dissociated and in fantasy land. And of course, that's the thing. That's what people need to do, is to stay children and stay in fantasy land. And because the reality of life is too much, understandably so. They say ignorance is bliss. There's a reason for that. Fascination Street with Jimmy, Micah, and Sarah Pearson. Good to see you. Sarah Pearson, good to see you. Out of Mind. Hello. And was Brandon in here? Hey, Brandon Young. Good to see you. Logic. Everybody showing up on the little unspiritual ship. How's Memento Mori doing, huh? How you doing? Hi, Zzenn. What have you been up to? Just reminding people of their mortality. Really? How's it going? Well, the New Agers really hate it. But see, I'm the skeleton inside all of them. So they have to live with it. Isn't it funny that they're always thinking of invisible stuff, but skeletons and bones are bad? Yeah, Zan, it just really sucks. But anyway, memento mori. Our little buddy. There were things I was going to say to kick off the adventure, and I don't remember anything what it was. Real quick, below every video, you can sign the petition to demand that Corey Good ask the Blue Avians to give us a cure for children's cancer. You can join the Unspirituality FB group. You can join the Zzenn Temple FB group. My books from Unspirituality are there. I'm almost ready to upload the 3rd edition of Permission to be Human. Unspirituality, Permission to be Human. I have somebody working on the cover right now. Invite you to like this video, share this video. Share it with your friends and family. Share it with people that you think it might piss them off. Help people deal with breaking the trance. You know, it's not easy to break the trance telling somebody that Santa Claus doesn't exist or the tooth fairy doesn't exist. You know, that's difficult. You know, it's very difficult. Invisible people. But that's, you know, children have invisible friends. You know, there's a reason why for that, you know, because they haven't really understood the world yet and they're too young to really deal with it. This is why they dissociate into the subjective world and literally identify with it. And if you've been suffering from, you know, problems in your childhood, then you actually stay in that realm. You stay there because it's a bubble. It's a shell that insulates you from reality. So, you know, I mean, it's understandable. So people can stay asleep or they can wake up. But if they're going to be around people that are awake, it's probably going to be difficult for them. All right, would anybody like me to pull a specific tarot card just for them? Hope everybody's got their coffee. It's Coffee with Zzenn. Anybody want to pull, if you want me to pull a tarot card just for you, you've got to give me a number from 1 to 10. Magic tarot cards. Hey, Planet Lupa. Planet Lupa. Ooh, yeah. No, 1 to 10, Brandon. Preferably 1 to 5. All right, which one am I going to pull from? Oh, let me see here. Let's do the Enchanted Map. This is actually a really good one that my friend Melissa turned me on to a while back. And I really like it. Very simple. Logic says, can't mess with a man's morning brew. Do not mess with a man's morning brew. Except minus cacao, almond milk, and cinnamon, which I'm very proud of because I was having prostate issues. And apparently it's good for you. Caffeine's bad. Okay, so Brandon Young, you got to give me another number. Okay, Sarah Pearson. So let's do this. Let me see here. We got our thing here. Okay. So I'm going to go for Sarah Pearson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, let's see. Let's see what the universe has to say for Sarah Pearson. Ooh. Interesting. Look at this one. Coming to life. It's very important that you get the good visual of the of the card, because it's all, when it comes to this stuff, there's reason why Austin Osman Spare, his chaos magic had everything to do with his art, because something happens when you look at art. There's a deep message that comes through with art, except for, in my opinion, the abstract stuff where somebody just throws paint on a thing and then says that's art. It's just not my thing. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Coming to life. This is number 29. I'm gonna have to change my shirt. This thing's too hot. All right, coming to life for Sarah Pearson. When you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? Perhaps you've shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least, matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know things take time, and spirit's timeable, or should I say biospirituality's timetable is rarely in sync with your own. Things take time. And so basically it's talking about, what if you interpret this, talking about chaos. The nature of the universe is chaos. You never know what's going to happen. The only nature, the structure, what's going on in the universe is only this moment, the current of life. Everything else is based in time. So you never know exactly how it's going to unfold. So you can have all sorts of ideas. This is why I say, you set your ideas out there. You go after the thing that you love and you want, realizing that you are being lived in the chaos of life. So I've gone after everything, manifested everything inside of me, and I'm still growing and evolving, and things unfolded in ways that I didn't even expect. But I say, set your goal, get your board, do your art board, do whatever you want, set it, and you move forward, and the adventure begins. This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must try not to coax it along. Well, now that's key. That's like focusing. Don't coax it along or shape it according to your desires. Chaos knows the best form for the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. So, it says, saying spirit knows the best. So kind of anthropomorphizing spirit, like it's some sort of consciousness. So I would say it's more unpredictability happens, okay, as you move forward. See, I can read all spiritual stuff. I just interpret it. Eat my cake, have my cake and eat it too. Now is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. So basically it's saying, set out your goals and, just realize that the nature of the universe is chaos. And so surprises will unfold. Things will unfold, go after it. You never know. So there's that. Brandon Young. All right, folks, I've got to change my shirt. I wanted to show off this shirt because I really like it, but I'm hot. I think I'll put my PlayStation shirt on. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy fuck. I cannot get this fucking shirt off. I could not get that shirt off. You know the little loopy loops that you put on there? It's ridiculous. Could not get that damn shirt off. Hey, Sarah Pearson, how was that for you? Hey, Rose Joy. Okay, we're pulling tarot cards. Sarah Pearson says, I don't think you could have pulled a better card for me, to be honest. Blink, 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 blink. Ooh, Zenn's bad. He's doing tarot. Okay, so Brandon Young pulled. So after we do a little bit of this, we're going to do some interesting news stories, and then I'll get to the heart of our show today. Silly McChilly, hello. Says, I gave your channel name in a comment under a Ron Miscavige video who is exposing Scientology. I said they should talk to you. Hope you don't mind. Oh, no. Go to anybody you want to. Anybody you want to. Yeah, I love doing interviews. I love being interviewed. Spreading the joy. Hey, Rose Joy. I may have just said hi to you. I don't remember. But, okay, Brandon Young says 6. So, by the way, for those who just got here, we're pulling tarot cards. And all you do is, give me a number between 1 and 5. Make it a little easier, okay? And we'll pull your card. I just did one from Sarah Pearson. She said it was right on. Okay, so Brandon Young said number 6. Okay, 6. Okay, this one's for Brandon Young. Let's go ahead and mix our wonder cards up. Okay. Okay, close my eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What surprises do the laws of chaos have for Brandon Young? Ooh, this was actually upside down. This was upside down. So it's details. Now get a good look at this. Bask in the art. Okay? Details. It's number 43. This is actually the best. This is actually the best deck. Really is. Okay, it's upside down, Brandon. So get ready. Reversed. Heed the gentle warning that perfectionism will not lead you to what you desire, but instead will steer you away from it. Nothing will be good enough when you become obsessed with being perfect. No one can ever measure up to your scrutiny, and nothing that you can ever do will assuage that general feeling of not being up to par. You're perfect already, just as you are. There you go, Brandon. There you go. All right, Rose Joy says 5. 5 for Rose Joy. Let's go ahead and mix up our cards. It's the Zzenn Tarot Hour. But Zzenn, we thought you were unspiritual and stuff. Have you read any of my books? No. Oh, okay, you don't understand what I teach. Do you know what biospirituality is? No. Okay, well then stop it. Okay. Rose Joy, let's bring that magic out. Let's bring all that magic right out. Right out of this deck, Rose Joy, right out of it. Okay? Here we go. Shuffled card. We're going to do 5. Open this up a little bit more. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Golden Palace. Feast your eyes upon the Golden Palace. Excuse me. Excuse me. Primate burp. Ooh, you're bad, Zzenn, for burping. If you ever revere somebody, like just perfect revere them like a guru or whatever, just picture them on the toilet. Okay, so number 23. Golden Palace for Rose Joy. Okay. The Golden Palace card represents good fortune, ambitions fulfilled, wealth and prosperity. It may also indicate emotional fulfillment, as perhaps you're entering a time of happiness that's long overdue. The message here is that self-worth isn't measured by what you have, no matter how abundant your life is. Instead, it comes from what you are, how authentically you're living your life, and how much love you're willing to share and receive. Added my little ad, and how much love you're willing to share and receive. Granted, receiving this card does indicate material gain and the furthering of tangible rewards, but things come and go, and knowing your true value leads to even greater riches. Now share the wealth. That is for Rose Joy. You know, and it's true. I mean, anyone says that money doesn't make you happy, they're lying. Okay, they don't know what they're talking about. It does. Just go visit homeless people and then go visit people who have money. Kids that are born into money tend to be have more of a more susceptible to being miserable, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be able to have done what I do now if I hadn't done the work, and came to a place of personal value. Okay, so here you go, folks. If no one else wants me to do one, then we are going to move forward. This is your last chance to hear the message from Chaos, the Lord of the universe. And then we'll move on to the next section of our adventure together. Oh, Philip Blair wants to do 3. Yay. All right, Philip Blair is doing 3. Number 3, magic number. Okay. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to pull 3 and take the third one. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Solitude. Feast your eyes upon this, Philip Blair. It's kind of like a lighthouse, isn't it? This is number 13. Solitude. I am comfortable in my own skin as I detach to replenish my soul, which is the felt sense of the body, according to unspiritual thinking. Meditation is required when you receive the solitude card as a sign. Empty your mind of superfluous thoughts and allow stillness to flow through your whole being. This is not an advantageous time to ask questions or push forward in any way. Rather, it's a period for a conscious retreat. What's called for now is to step back and take your focus off your life and your troubles. You'll be surprised at how many things sort themselves out once you've replenished your energy by means of a much-needed rest and time out. Now, I would disagree a little bit in the sense that empty your mind of superfluous thoughts. I think when the thoughts come up, it's a good time to embrace them and say hello to them and say thank you for being here. But stepping out of things, taking that happens to me a lot, Philip, is I have to step back from this. Let it go. Doesn't even exist. Unplug. And it has to happen. In a lot of things, your work, everything, it's a reset. And it's really, really important. Okay. All right. So there you go, everybody. Oh, Sidvich said 4 earlier. Well, we will leave no one left behind of our unspiritual crew on the unspiritual ship. Okay. So it'll be 4. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we went back over here. Huh. I just let my fingers chaotically go wherever they want to go. Oh, blink, blink. It's a reversed magic prayer. A reversed magic prayer. Number 32. All right, reversed for Sidvich. Okay. Self-will that goes unchecked can bring difficulties. Reversed, the magic prayer card is a sign that you mistakenly believe that your way is the only one. Could the path you're on be leading you to a place of regret? Or could you be pursuing something that just isn't good for you? If so, you may be facing a painful lesson and a lonely one too. Perhaps it is time to pray and meditate on your highest good and the highest good of all. Spirit, or as I would say it, chaos, may have other plans for you. Be assured that they will be better than any you could ever dream up. Interesting that we got the same sort of message. So it's basically saying, be open to options. What I'm hearing this is be careful of being stubborn in a direction. For instance, somebody is opening you up, like for instance, somebody is a believer and someone's coming along, they're opening them up to new ideas about evolution or something. And so they're sticking to their whole thing. And it's saying it's going to bring you some pain. Could it lead you to a place of regret? Could be something, somebody's giving you advice about making a big decision about your child in a divorce or something like that. So painful lesson and a lonely one too. Perhaps it's time to pray. So basically, in meditate would really be it's time to contemplate for the highest good of everybody involved, because everybody involved involves you. It's always about you, which is yourself is a virtue. You as ego, as a brain, is the only thing. You're always living for yourself. Mother Teresa was always living for herself, and everybody, including Gandhi, was living for themselves because everything they did had to do with their own values and what made them feel good, all of that. But because of inherited religious shame, the self is bad. And, don't be too full of self because you could be arrogant and bad. How about lift your head up high and be proud of being who you are, and be careful of identifying with grandiose or the opposite selves, personas that have nothing to do with real time and who you are in this moment. So there's that. Philip Blair says, my ego annoys me. Well, your ego, what does that mean? Your ego. Who's you that's saying you have an ego? What does that mean? Hey, Bunya. Sidvich said, ouch. And Philip Blair said that was very fitting right now. Beautiful. So, the thing is, I've said before with the tarot cards or tarot cards, however they say it, what they represent is the various parts of your brain life that we all have in common, various archetypes. So no matter what you pull, you're gonna see it somewhere. And the interesting thing about it is, it'll touch on something that is significant. I should show you guys this. This may be another thing people envy. Yes, I have the H.R. Geiger Baphomet, the Terra of the Underworld. Yes, that's what I have. Be careful of your lusting after that. Oh, here we go. All right. Now I also have evil tarot decks if anybody wants an evil one sometime. All right, folks. So here we go. Let's check out what's in the news. What is in the news? What's in the news? Latest news. QAnon disciple. Let me see if I want to put it there or here. Maybe I'll put these here. QAnon disciple allegedly vandalized Catholic church with crowbar while ranting about human trafficking. Self-described badass patriot Timothy Larson, a follower of the far-right QAnon conspiracy theory, allegedly trashed an Arizona church and posted online about it afterwards. Well, isn't that silly crazy? A believer in the pro-Trump QAnon conspiracy theory allegedly vandalized a prominent Catholic church in Arizona last week in what appears to be the latest violent incident involving a disciple of the conspiracy theory. QAnon believers base their worldview around anonymous clues posted online by an anonymous character named Q, the clues which echo the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, posit that President Donald Trump and the U.S. military are engaged in an elaborate covert war with a global pedophile cabal made up of top Democrats, financiers, and Hollywood elites. Now, this is not untrue. Okay. All of these people always take the obvious stuff out there and they mix it with baloney. Timothy Larson, 41, was charged with aggravated criminal damage, burglary, and other charges after the Wednesday attack on Sedona's church. Oh, it was in Sedona. After the Wednesday attack on Sedona's Church of the Holy Cross. Oh, you know what? I didn't even put that together. I didn't put the Red Rocks together. It's a beautiful church, by the way. It's right on top of a hill. It's right, the Red Rocks all around it. It's a beautiful church. Timothy Larson, 40, okay. Footage posted to social media by witnesses show a man who Sedona police say is Larson smashing candles and altar displays with a crowbar. Larson also allegedly spray painted evil on the ground outside the popular tourist attraction, which is built into a Red Rock Mountain butte. Well, you know, this is not the way to expose Christianity. In fact, this is going to be part of the topic today, I believe. I don't know if anybody knows about Candace Owens. Candace Owens is one of my new favorite speakers who went from the far left or just the regular Democrats, I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if she's still a Democrat or she went over to be a Republican. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, she's exposing the far left, not the normal Democrats, of using of race baiting and using the African American people in a very manipulative way to gain power and everything else. She's just really outspoken. Now, I agree with a lot of what she says, but I'm going to show you one thing that she says that I have a problem with. And we're going to get into this. Well, let's watch this video. Wow. Trying to see if I knew the guy. Wow. Crazy peoples. Crazy peoples. The church vandalism, which occurred in front of a number of visitors, appears to be the latest instance of violence involving a QAnon believer. 2 QAnon fans have been charged with murder in cases of... Whoa. 2 QAnon fans have been charged with murder in cases apparently prompted by the conspiracy theory, including the slaying of the head of the Gambino crime family. What? What? You know, folks, and to say this stuff isn't dangerous, you know, to say it's not dangerous, it's dangerous. It's not a joke anymore, as Brandon Young says. And now that the movie, watch this, the movie Joker, I don't know if you guys seen the movie Joker, it was really good. But watch, you're going to start seeing Antifa coming out with masks and other whatever people, but they're all victims of white people. You know, it's such a stupid narrative. You know, we're the only country that brings in everybody. In fact, white people are actually the minority at this juncture. We just had an African American president. The people in the freaking music industry, they're African American, top of the heap, across the board. It's just crazy. They're just race baiting, and they're making everybody fight against each other, and they're using the African American people to feel like victims. This is what I love about what Candace Owens is saying. Stand up and be powerful, African Americans. Stop playing the victim. You don't need to be. You know, they're just making them victims. But here's the thing: if America is so damn bad, why does everybody want to come here? Doesn't it seem retarded that the far left, and I'm not talking about Democrats, okay? In fact, I used to be a Democrat. Now I'm a liberal. I'm like a liberal independent sort of thing. And I think for myself. So, you know, I have to be careful when I talk. Well, I don't, you know, is that people that are far left, all of a sudden, just because I think for myself, then all of a sudden I'm a racist and a sexist and all this stuff, because they're just stupid. So here's the thing. Why in the world would you be all about how awful this country is, and you're trying to open the borders to get everybody in, right? And you want to turn it into a socialist country? Blink, blink. Everybody's coming here because it's not a socialist country, dummy. You know why we're one of the top creators of new inventions and new breakthroughs in science? Is because we have, the way it's set up is that we're able, especially in the medical industry, we have enough money to fund this. If we go into a socialist medical, what I'm trying to say, like a universal health care, like in Canada, okay? We're not going to have that anymore. It'll be over. And people that have gone into Canada, somebody recently, his name was Crowder, I forget his first name. He went just as a test, went into Canada, pretended he had a broken arm, went into the emergency room. He had to wait 4 hours before he got seen. Okay? At this juncture in this country, you can go into an emergency room and pretty much get in like that. But here's the thing. I do think that we should have enough of universal health care. We need to reduce the freaking amount of what it costs to get into emergency. You don't want to go into emergency for 20 minutes and you get charged $4,000. It's a ripoff. You shouldn't have to pay $600 for your medicine. All of this needs to be dropped all the way down, ridiculously. So there needs to be a middle ground. But in my opinion, people are going to disagree with me. Capitalism is the way. It makes people stronger. The reason why people are coming here from other countries is because of capitalism, and it's because they can build their own empire. Not so they can be part of a big government. Who wants more government? Who wants big government? This is the first time I've actually gotten real political. I may lose some subscribers. So I think for myself, these are just things myself, despite whatever. But, you know, some people don't, it's not okay to have your own opinion. right? You're just all of a sudden, I can't talk to you anymore. Yeah, you're bad, you know. So they want to live in a socialist country or a communist country where there's big government and they tell you what to say and what you can't say. But that's the beauty of America, that you can say what you want to say. And America represents the entire planet. Well, socialism, Rose Joy, it feeds the rich. What's her name? God, I despise this woman. Maxine Waters. Guess you know where she's living? In a $6 million home. Fucking ridiculous. You know what I hate about Trump? Trump, will you stop repeating yourself? Man, there's a lot of things that I think Trump's done I like. But come on, stop repeating yourself. I mean, every time he's asked a question, he just repeats himself a zillion times. Ooh. Zzenn is neutral, thinking for himself. Okay. So anyway, now we have a QAnon person in Sedona that has vandalized our big Catholic, beautiful Catholic church. And then we have a couple of QAnon people that have murdered. As the Sedona Vandal left the church, he warned onlookers that the Catholic Church supports human trafficking and told them not to support Satanists. That's funny. Satanism has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. You are a moron. Many QAnon disciples think, without evidence, that the Catholic Church is part of the supposed global child trafficking conspiracy in cahoots with the Democratic Party leaders. Again, all this stuff takes really hard evidence, and people should stop, making blanket statements. Okay, but anyway, there's just a lot of stupidity that comes out of this stuff. Do you think that the Catholic Church has been part of pedophilia? I wouldn't be surprised. But again, you got to look at the details. Is some of the Catholic Church, or everybody in the Catholic Church? No. Is it possible? Yes. But I would be careful of how people just glue everything together. Before leaving the church, Larson left behind business cards emblazoned with a large Q, according to police. He also posted to Twitter pictures of the cards, which declare him to be a badass patriot and a human trafficking investigator, both phrases popular with QAnon fans. Larson allegedly had a large knife and katana-style sword on him when he was arrested. Crazy people. What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, here's his card. It's his card. He says, handy immortal man for hire. Ooh, handy immortal man. Yeah, you'd be ashamed of your own self as a human primate. Will work for food, shelter, or massage therapy. I leave these gold hero cards at each mission, no matter the task. The alleged vandal appeared to acknowledge the attack on Twitter after it happened, posting about the church in a tweet that declared QAnon mission success. Larson attached what happened to be a video of him hitting a tether ball with an American flag with the acronym MAGA, a reference to Trump's Make America Great Again slogan prominently displayed. And, does this represent Trump? Again, I didn't vote. So I'm looking at anything. If this is Obama, I would have said, does this represent Obama? No, it doesn't at all. Okay. Larson prolifically posted about QAnon on Twitter in the lead up to the vandalism, tweeting the day before the attack that he was working for Team Q. In October 2018, he wrote that QAnon was a major part of my self-actualization. Now, I've already showed you guys on another video, QAnon is complete baloney. Baloney. Hasn't even got one prediction prophecy right. Not one. I think they got lucky on something. Got lucky. Yeah, Bunya, Wilcock and them are still pushing this shit. Yeah, just watch this movie, The Joker. Watch shit that starts happening from The Joker. Look for people with clown masks. Because America is so awful. And in August 2018 tweet, he called for investigations of some of the most bizarre QAnon claims, including the idea that the non-existent global cabal communicates by Xbox game, chat, and listed astrological signs of various liberal Trump critics and media personalities. Larson was arrested a few hours following the incident after a store clerk called 911. Before his arrest, Larson had purportedly told the clerk he was investigating human trafficking. Yeah, right. Yeah, we need you to investigate it. The moron. Sedona police did not immediately respond to a request for the comment, and Larson couldn't be reached by the Daily Beast. Despite the growing number of violent incidents attached to QAnon, the Trump administration invited a number of the conspiracy theories promoters to the White House in July for the social media summit. In August, a warm-up speaker at a Trump rally used a QAnon slogan during a speech, although he later claimed he didn't mean it as a signal to Trump administration invited a number of the conspiracy theories promoters to the White House. Now that was stupid. Stupid. Okay, now I just want you to know something. I'm going to get into Christianity and atheism, okay? And show you guys that this country is not a Christian country. It wasn't founded on Christianity. It's founded on secularism. We're going to get into that, kicking off from Candace Owens. I'm not sure if we're going to fit it in. Yeah, we'll fit it in. All right. So look at that. Here's a QAnon believer posting a long, rambling rant. Oh, here's more of this.
Tonight's other big story, a man caught on camera vandalizing one of Arizona's most iconic religious landmarks.
There it is, isn't it beautiful?
Catching him smashing candles and bludgeoning parts of the altar at Sedona's world-famous Chapel of the Holy Cross.
That video helping Sedona police arrest the man earlier today. Team 12's Ryan Cody joins us live with a possible motive as the congregation tries to pick up the pieces. Ryan?
Yeah, definitely a bold move to do something like this in broad daylight at an Arizona icon with dozens of tourists standing right there. But Timothy Larson's ex-wife saying she is not surprised at all. Timothy Larson taking
I like how he
crowbar
falls
to the altar, then smashing a window and spray painting the word evil at the entrance to the Chapel of the Holy Cross in Sedona.
I'm sure to him it made perfect logical sense in his mind.
Catherine Larson is this man's ex-wife. She lives in Las Vegas, and things like this are the reason they're no longer together.
Stranger and stranger occurrences until it was too much for my family to handle.
He took the crowbar.
There's actually a high up ledge there. It would have been fun to push him off that thing.
And just really hit the tabernacle.
But Larson's ex-wife says this is so much deeper than destruction.
He believed variously that he was the reincarnation of Jesus.
Saying he's a big believer in conspiracy theories, including
Blink,
the idea
blink.
Catholicism is linked to human trafficking.
Catholic Church supports human trafficking. Listen to me.
Then leaving his personalized cards at the chapel, revealing a
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny, folks? Across the board, you have violence. I'm going to show you in a bit. Atheist countries on the planet have the lowest crime rates. Religious countries have the highest crime rates. Gee, why is that? We're going to get into it. Yes, we are. What do you think, Memento Mori? People are fucking crazy. What else do we have? Let's see what's going on at the Ashtar Command. Let me see. David Icke says Armageddon is near. It is now time to leave. The city's 300 million will die and civilization collapse. Gee, I'm so shocked by the spiritual love and light crowd Shocking video of the imminent economic collapse and the $66 trillion debt crisis. The borrower is the servant of the lender, and one of the primary ways that the elite keep the rest of us subjugated is through the $66 trillion mountain of government debt that has been accumulated. Bloody, 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 blah. Here we go. There we go. Oh, wait. Let me see what this is.
Biggest gain in global debt came from is actually emerging markets.
Anyway, you know, the thing is, it's always truth always mixed with fiction. You know what I mean? It's not to say that these things aren't true, but it's how they're used and how they predict, like they know stuff. You know, the nature of the universe is chaos. You don't know what's going to happen. Donald Trump and the 9/11 code. Here we got the disclosure thing. Who are the light workers? I like this one. Elon Musk says he has not seen any signs of aliens. Who are you going to believe? David Wilcock or Elon Musk? Let me show you a little treat on David Wilcock. A little treat.
Then in
A little treat of David Wilcock. Okay. Here we go. This is David Wilcock at one of his lectures, conventions, whatever the hell you want to call it. Now he begins to talk about the raw material. Okay. Listen to what he says.
1996, I read this Law of One material, which the first book of which is called The Ra material, because Ra is the name of the source. It claims to be a positive entity that helped the Atlanteans and the Egyptians way back when, and their message got
Notice how he says it claims.
Distorted and confused, and they had to withdraw. Then they come back, and they were able to get through people that were actually doing intuitive channeling and get messages through. Now, in general, I don't really endorse channeling at all. I think it's kind of really taken a big downturn. But
in general, I don't endorse channeling at all, right? Now, here's David Wilcock channeling Ra.
I am Ra. It is an honor and a privilege to greet you this day in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Resonant raindrops of liquid light cascading down.
Yeah, really. Really. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Ruins on Mars. Somebody's been out in our...
Isn't it interesting? Isn't it fascinating?
Through. Now, in general, I don't really endorse channeling at all. I think it's kind of really taken through. Now, in general, I don't really endorse channeling at all. I think it's through. Now, in general, I don't really endorse channeling at all.
Down in a panoply of shapes and colors, unbeknownst.
Anyway, so you're going to believe him or you're going to believe Elon Musk? A genius. SpaceX founder Elon Musk briefly discussed the possibility that intelligent extraterrestrials may be out in space and largely dismissed such a scenario. The colorful entrepreneur reportedly made the comments on Saturday at the long-awaited unveiling of his private space company's reusable launch system known as Starship MK. Ooh, it must be a conspiracy. While musing about his ambition to quickly develop a self-sustaining colony on Mars, he observed that, as far as we know, we're the only consciousness or the only life that's out there. There might be other life, but we have seen no signs of it. Now, that's an extreme statement. I think the universe is most likely teeming with life. I just think that the 20th century narrative is baloney. The whole thing is man-made, leading to this one world globalist religion where everybody has to obey higher invisible authorities. It's all about authority, invisible authority. As long as they're invisible, they can never be held accountable. They can change their mind. They can do anything. It's like Drumvelo. I was talking to Drumvelo the other day. He said, I asked him, Drumvelo, we were in the Safeway parking lot. I said, Drumvelo, why don't you just levitate? It's not a big deal. They said, no, I've been told I can't by the ascended masters, Musk went on to note that he often gets asked, what do you know about the aliens? Presumably, since the head of a massive private space company might have some insight into the matter. However, he claimed that he is as in the dark about the subject as the rest of us, revealing that I'm pretty sure I'd know if there were aliens, yet I've not seen any signs of it. So again, the only way Wilcock and Good are going to get around this is by saying he's part of the cabal. Because all they have to do is just keep, throwing that card out there. But again, who are you going to listen to? The guy that has an invisible blue bird that he talks to, or you're going to listen to Elon Musk, who actually has he's working on, a whole system to get out into outer space. Regarding the longstanding belief of many that the government knows about the existence of aliens and is keeping the information hidden from the public, Musk offered his own somewhat conspiratorial answer to that idea. He says, let me tell you, the latest way to increase defense funding, he said, would be to announce, hey, we found an alien. Blink, 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 blink. For that reason, he seemed doubtful that the government would cover up their knowledge of ETs for very long, arguing that guaranteed that would be on display in like 2 seconds. So that's exactly what I said. The whole thing was to... Hold on a second. Yeah, so moving on. He wrapped up his thoughts on extraterrestrials by asserting that the reality is, as far as we know, this is the only place, at least in this part of the galaxy or in the Milky Way. Now that makes more sense. Where there is consciousness. When pressed by a member of the audience who jokingly said that they didn't believe Musk when he claimed not to have knowledge of aliens, he responded, I hope I'm wrong. If they are here, I hope they're nice. They haven't killed us yet, so they must not be that bad. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Oh, we love aliens. No, you love the creatures in your imagination. You don't know. The aliens may show up and eat your head off. But let's not think about that. Let's stay in adult child land. And the thing of it is, where I stand with the whole thing, there's no soul. There's no spirit realm. This is all fantasy. The only reality is this. That's a shocking statement to some people. But I can explain all spiritual phenomena. And it lines up with neuroscience. Ooh, neuroscience is bad. Neuroscience is out-of-body experiences are inner-body hallucinations. It's no less meaningful. The spirit realm is simply the feeling one has from the inside of the atmosphere. Hey, Crystal McKay. That's what it is. I am qualified to say that after out of 30 years being on the path, actually a lifetime being on the path, having had out-of-body experiences from the time I was 4, have had above the average extreme spiritual experiences and many Kundalini experiences and the full banana Kundalini experience. But you must go with what is right for you, what you think is true, and, disagree with me and others until you figure out what's true for you. Hopefully you'll search out evidence. Now, I have to visit the loo, so all of you frolic about, enjoy yourselves. I'll be right back. By the way, folks, blink, blink, I've got the new website up. The new website I'm very happy about, very excited. Good times. Good times are happening. Give you a little tour of the website. There you go. Notice there's a menu at top. There's also book a Skype session with Zzenn. So you can click on there and you can book a Skype session. I'm really excited about this because I was with Bluehost for over 10 years. And there's a whole bunch of things. And the thing about WordPress and having so many sites is I have to monitor all the sites. I have to pay $100 a year for protecting the sites. You know, it's just like being, WordPress is like being in, a shady part of town and all you have is a little, pocket knife. Anyway, this is GoDaddy. It comes with everything completely protected. I don't have to worry about a thing. I don't have to worry about spam, nothing. Okay, so here's the 3 projects I currently have. By the way, folks, keep in mind Zzenn Temple. I found the flow for Zzenn Temple. It looks like I'm steering more towards live stream teachings. So we're going to have a topic, and I'm looking for people to also to come on board, even in the middle of the show. And you can come on board. I can send you a link. Boom. There'll be 2 windows if you want to do a, sort of a one-on-one type of session with me. And talk about or just share things that you've been going through and experiences. You can ask me questions and about your life and your path. And then I'm looking to have more interviews there. So I'm very excited about it. But anyway, so if you click on Unspirituality, it'll bring you to, I'm transferring the blog from the current website over to this one. You go to Zzenn Temple, and basically it's leading you to the YouTube channel at this juncture. Same with Zzenn Song. Again, you can Skype with Zzenn. You can donate. And of course, you can contact me or contact. Just remember that calls are screened. Wait, let me see here. If you hit contact, okay. And if you go down here, you'll see the blog has begun. And then, of course, you can donate and very much appreciate your donations. So there you go. What's happening on the stream, folks? What's going on the stream? So yeah, and by the way, if anybody wants to pop on now, if you have something you want to share that has to do with unspirituality, I'll send you a link and you can pop on and we can have a little chatty poo. Yeah, if you have any questions for me or comments, or you want to pop on, you have something to share, I'll send you a link and you can pop on. Rose Joy says, I never believed Armageddon was near till Trump. Brandon says, can we share this on Twitter? What do you want to share on Twitter? Oh, the QAnon? You want me to send you the link? It's a great link. Brandon Young says, what about socialism for the rich? Yeah, it's all wired for the rich. But I definitely want to find a medium. We got to drop these prices on these. We got to make it affordable for the average person. It's ridiculous. But I'm a big believer in capitalism. Again, the reason why everybody wants to come is because of the country. So why have everybody come and then change it? It's just so stupid. Oh gosh, it's just so stupid. Human herd is just so damn stupid. Okay, let me send it to you really quick. Sharing the video. Oh, this video? What you talking about, man? Well, yeah. Well, of course. Please share the video. This is required watching. Share all the videos, Brandon. Okay, so there's no other questions. So anyway, so that's the website. Moving on to more news. This is interesting. Babies in the womb have lizard-like hand muscles. Remember I talked about atavistic resurgence? Why when you have the full-blown Kundalini experience, the whole thing is a serpent energy. Babies in the womb have extra lizard-like muscles in their hands that most will lose before they are born, medical scans reveal. They're probably one of the oldest, albeit fleeting remnants of the evolution seen in humans, yet biologists say in the journal Development. They date them as 250 million years old, a relic from when reptiles transitioned into mammals. Our source of our evolution and our planet species is, we come from a planet of monsters, giant lizard monsters. You know, it's just so funny. And the people are always shifting over to the spiritual people to spiritual evolution. It's like, if you actually really looked at evolution, it blows away anything with your Arcturians and all your baloney. It blows it away if you just take a good look at it, folks. All right. So I think the last hour, I'm going to jump into, and maybe I'll do another one tonight because I have a number of news stories I want to share with you guys. So maybe I'll do another one tonight, and we'll get into something else tonight. But I want to share with you, since we're a bit political on this one, I want to share with you this thing on Candace Owens, okay? Because we're into our second hour. So it says, it is unclear why the human body makes and then deletes them before birth. The biologists say the developmental step may be what makes thumbs dexterous. Thumbs, unlike other digits, retain an extra muscle. Rarely, some children and adults have been found to have a few of the extra finger and hand muscles, but never all of the I'm not going to try to say that. The biologists saw when they looked at 3D scans of embryos and fetuses at 7 to 13 weeks gestation. So if you're ever wondering why Kundalini in the East is all about serpent power, again, all of this stuff comes from the biology, like I've said. And so let me go to, real quick, let me find. All right. I want you to watch. Now, a lot of what I really dig about Candace Owens, okay? But this is where I step off the Candace Owens wagon. Okay? Here we go. She's brave. She's very articulate. Love her. Okay?
Again, if you could kind of also talk about family roles being broken down, and if you think that the family unit is static, and if it's able to be, if it can change and be dynamic throughout time.
No, I think it's the most important thing. I think it beyond it just being biblical, the most important thing is to have the family intact.
Notice she said biblical.
And because what happens when you break down the families, let's think about what happens to the youth, right? They're still going to pursue that paternity. They're still going to pursue that maternity somewhere else. And what's happened, and I speak obviously specifically about the Black community, but any broken family, is that they will go look for that paternity elsewhere, and where they tend to go to is culture, right? So when you can't get your values from mom and dad, you start thinking Beyonce and Jay-Z is the way that you should live. You start listening to a hip-hop track and you start to glorify. This is why. If you pay attention to the left, they will always have Beyonce or Jay-Z. What do we have? Chrissy Teigen and John Legend at the DNC, whatever it was, a couple of weeks ago, because they want them to start glorifying celebrities.
See, now this is where it steps off. Again, there's so much about what she's doing is great for the African American community. I think is really, really great. She's empowering them. She's exposing the radical left that want to keep them victims. You know what I mean? It's time to make them help people be empowered and provide ways for them to be empowered. But the Christian thing in here, this is where I step off, okay? So the assumption is that because of Christianity, that it's all about the family, right? And it has to be in the Christian thing to have family. And if not, you're following awesome stars. Okay? They're all not all awesome, but awesome stars. As if that she says you're glorifying them. No, maybe you just enjoy their music. Okay? And how many secular families enjoy that music and have been raised just fine without God?
And in our opinion, and Charlie and I talk about this all the time, as you see this removal or almost this stigmatization of people that believe in God and believe in the Bible and culture, it's permeating culture, right? They mock God, they mock religious people, they mock Vice VP Pence for being faithful to his wife. That's a bizarre thing, right? He's faithful and honored.
Well, mocking God is perfectly fine in my opinion. It's a free society. I think mocking Pence or anybody personal for their beliefs is stupid. We live in a free society, okay? It's called freedom of speech. You respect other people's religions. Just like the Satanic Temple wants to put their Baphomet next to the Ten Commandments. And the Christian right says, no, you can't do that. It's like, oh, have you looked at the Constitution? Have you looked at the founders? Have you looked at them? Oh, I don't have it here. Let me give you a quote, folks. Hold on a second. Okay. So, all right. So let me give you a couple quotes. This is by Thomas Jefferson. I have examined all the known superstitions of the word, and I do not find in our particular superstition of Christianity one redeeming feature. They are all alike, founded on fables and mythology. Millions of innocent men, women, and children, since the introduction of Christianity, have been burnt, tortured, fined, and imprisoned. What has been the effect of this coercion? To make one half of the world fools and the other half hypocrites, to support roguery and error all over the world. Thomas Jefferson. He goes on, Christianity has become the most perverted system that ever shone on man. Rogueries, absurdities, and untruths were perpetrated upon the teachings of Jesus by a large band of dupes and importers led by Paul, the first great corrupter of the teaching of Jesus. The clergy converted the simple teachings of Jesus into an engine for enslaving mankind and adulterated by artificial construction into a contrivance to filch wealth and power to themselves. Okay, John Adams. The doctrine of the divinity of Jesus is made a convenient cover for absurdity. Adams signed the Treaty of Tripoli. Article 11 states, the government of the United States is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. If I remember correctly, "In God We Trust" didn't show up on the dollar bill till like in the 1930s or something like that. This was a secular country for good reason. Separation of church and state. You don't see that in the far right. No, they're just peddling God. It's bullshit. This is the bullshit part of Trump. My opinion. It's bullshit. And think about this a second. The whole The whole belief system is based on human sacrifice. Gnats know this one. Mosquitoes, gnats, cockroaches, they all know this one. They think it's stupid. Anytime you're hanging out with a Christian, okay, just look at them and say, your entire religion, the core of your religion, the center of your religion is human sacrifice. It's absolutely disgusting. And you claim to be the forerunners, the harbingers of ethics and morals. It's disgusting. Because you don't think people can be good without God. And guess what? Reality check. The countries that have the least amount of crime, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, are atheist countries. It's complete bullshit. Christianity is the root of the New Age. This is why you have ascension. All this bullshit. So the far right, all of them are about a bloody human sacrifice and virtue signaling everybody else. What we need is an atheist president, male or female. That's what we need. You know? There's things I like about Trump. I think he's done good for us. Things I don't like about him. Some things I liked about Obama, things I didn't like about Obama. I also understand the globalist agenda. I also understand socialism. For me, I think it would make my life miserable. I like capitalism. I think it empowers people. Teach a person how to fish, then to fish for them. I also think we should have social systems set up for people who really need help. But I think we should help people get a job, help them empower themselves. And we need to drop the expense of pharmaceuticals. Way down. And also emergency visits into the emergency room. It should be way down. Ridiculous. The stuff that we have to pay for this shit. There's got to be a way to bring it down. Thomas Paine, folks. Among the most detestable villains in history, you could not find one worse than Moses. Here is an order attributed to God to butcher the boys, to massacre the mothers, and to debauch and rape the daughters. I would not dare to dishonor my Creator's name by attaching it to this filthy book. It is the duty of every true deist to vindicate the moral justice of God against the evils of the Bible. The Christian church has set up a religion of pomp and revenue in pretended imitation of a person who lived a life of poverty. That's right, if you believe in Jesus. And Jesus is nothing more than a myth, no more real than Zeus. So it just goes on and on and on. All these quotes. You know, from complete... Here's Benjamin Franklin. When a religion is good, I conceive it will support itself, and when it cannot support itself, and God does not take care to support it, so that its professors are obliged to call for the help of the civil power, it is a sign, I apprehend, of it being a bad one. I cannot conceive otherwise than that he, the infinite Father, expects or requires no worship or praise from us, but that he is even infinitely above it. I have found Christian dogma unintelligible. Patrick Henry, that religion and the manner of discharging it can be directed only by reason and conviction, not by force or violence, and therefore all men are equally entitled to the free exercise of religion according to the dictates of conscience. So, anyway, this is a secular country, okay? The whole idea is to separate church and state. You will not fucking see that.
Versus wife, and they mock that. Why? Because if you really want to put forth socialism and you want to grow government and you want the government to have control of everything, you have to make sure people have no values. You have to make sure that they don't believe in God first and foremost. You have to make sure if they do not believe in the family, they have to believe in nothing but themselves. They have to fundamentally be atheists.
Nothing but themselves.
Which
Now
is what
listen to
they're
this.
pushing in
Listen to
society
this.
right now.
Listen.
They have to fundamentally be atheists, which is what they're pushing in society right now. They have to believe in nothing but themselves. They have to fundamentally be atheists.
So isn't this disgusting? It's disgusting to be an atheist. It's disgusting to believe in nothing but yourself. But you got to believe in this anthropomorphic daddy, authoritarian daddy in outer space, that whole plan, because Adam and Eve didn't obey him, was he kicked him out of the garden and said everybody's going to hell. So in the Old Testament, everybody had to murder millions or maybe even billions of sheep and goats to appease his anger. And then he was like, this is getting a little messy. So let's get the most purest person I can think of as my son. Let's bring him down. He can't be born of sex. That's bad. He has to be just magically appear in her womb, Mary's womb. And he has to live this pure life so that he can be tortured relentlessly, very slow, beaten, just tortured so that my anger would be appeased. And they're talking God is supposed to be the person that you should follow. Don't trust yourself. You're an atheist. Atheism is bad, which I'm going to show you it isn't. It's disgusting. See, the thing is, if you're a Trump supporter or a leftist or a Democrat, what you're going to find if you listen long enough is that as an independent, I think for myself, I eat the grapes and spit out the seeds across the board. That's called freedom. It's very easy to go black and white thinking is very easy. It's just lazy. Trump's the ultimate evil, And Maxine Waters, who lives in a $6 million home, she's good. It's stupid. Just look at everybody critically. What do you value? Stop being a fucking slave.
What they're pushing in society right now. They have to believe Kim Kardashian is a demigod. They have to believe in fundamentally nothing, and everything else follows. So to me, the first thing that we need to return to is the home. There has to be a strong home. And
that makes sense. I think that is, I agree with her. The problem of the African American community is that they don't have strong families. Is the breaking up of the family. You need to have strong fathers, a strong sense of self, because of the family having a strong sense of self. That's just natural. Empower the poor. I don't care what color you are. Teach a person how to fish. Don't fish for them. In my opinion, I think Candace Owens is just one of the best things out there for the African American community. And, you can disagree, but it's a free country. It's my opinion.
And a strong center and strong values.
Yeah, because you can't have a strong center and strong values if you're an atheist. No, you cannot. It's a bunch of bullshit. The fact of the matter is, again, I'll say it again because new people are showing up. The countries with the lowest crime rates on the planet are atheist countries. The countries with the highest crime rates are religious countries. There's the facts for you. But then again, Christianity, again, is founded on a human bloody sacrifice. What do you expect? Then they virtue signal everybody about morality. I'd love to have a conversation with Candace Owens on that one. Maybe she'll interview me someday.
And for me, as a man of faith, I believe this to the day that I pass. Jesus is the head of the church. The man is the head of the house. And that's the way it should be run.
See, this is what destroys their whole message right here. Completely destroys it. Now, it's great for people that are Christians. Okay. Listen, we live in a free country. Do whatever you want. Allah, Jesus, they're all invisible people. Whatever it is you want to do, have at it. Okay. And respect other people that have these beliefs. Okay. As long as they're not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? If you want to believe in an invisible person, have at it. But you shouldn't be making policy decisions in our government based on that belief system. We should have atheist, secular people in our government. Janine says, I think atheists are probably some of the most sincere people. They have no worries about some God punishing them. I couldn't agree with you more, Janine. Some people say atheism is a belief system. I'm about to clear this up with you guys. Anybody who's curious. It's not a belief system. All children are born atheist. Non-believers, secular, put whatever label you want on it. It doesn't require belief for me to not accept the belief that Santa Claus exists. I go by evidence. I go by the natural world. I go by my senses. Ooh, sinful. You're the one claiming that there's a heavy set man that flies around with reindeers in one night around the whole world and happens to crawl down everybody's chimney. It's a ridiculous story. Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy. They're all ridiculous stories. This is what atheism stands for. We don't buy into it. Anti-theist. I don't believe in your theistic, anthropomorphic projection of mommy and daddy in outer space. Nothing wrong with that.
And I honestly believe the reason why we don't structure it that way is because people have been brainwashed and feel very insecure.
No, brainwashing is Christianity, and you should separate church from state. You should just shut up. Sorry, you should shut up. You're ruining your whole message. And I'm a big fan of Candace Owens, pretty much everything else she says. Okay? But this is bullshit. But it's great for Christian far right. But the far right should get the hell out of mixing their whole ideas into government and stop saying in God we trust and all this other bullshit. You should be neutral. This was founded a secular country. I just know why they don't get it. You know, there's a lot of things I like about Trump, but I don't like that he repeats himself absurdly, makes me want to scream. And then this whole God thing, you know, baloney. Okay, so let me go to the next thing here. All right. Okay. Los Angeles Times op-ed, think religion makes society less violent? Think again. Whenever tragedy strikes in America, some conservative politician or pundit will inevitably blame it on secularism. In the aftermath of the shootings at Umpqua Community College, for example, Fox host Bill O'Reilly cited weakening religion as the culprit. As the world becomes more secular, he declared, civilized restraints to bad behavior drop. Yeah, again, coming from a man who believes in a bloody human sacrifice. That's his religion. Mike Huckabee offered similar sentiments after the 2012 school shooting in Newton, Connecticut. Secularism, in a November 1 op-ed about violence and secularism, Phil Zuckerman was described as a sociobiology professor at Pitzer college. He teaches sociology. The theory is simple. If people become less religious, then society will decay, crime will skyrocket, violence will rise, and once civilized life will degenerate into immorality and depravity. This is a complete fantasy, coming from somebody who believes in a bloody human sacrifice. It's an old widespread notion, and it's demonstrably false. If it were true that when belief in God weakens, societal well-being diminishes, then we should see abundant evidence for this, but we don't. In fact, we find just the opposite. Those societies today that are the most religious, where faith in God is strong and religious participation is high, tend to have the highest violent crime rates, while those societies in which faith and church attendance are the weakest, the most secular societies tend to have the lowest. Blink, blink. We can start at the international level. The most secular societies today include Sweden, Denmark, Norway, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Japan, Britain, France, the Netherlands, Germany, South Korea, New Zealand, Australia, Vietnam, Hungary, China, and Belgium. The most religious societies include Nigeria, Uganda, the Philippines, Pakistan, Morocco, Egypt, Zimbabwe, Bangladesh, El Salvador, Colombia, Senegal, Malawi, Indonesia, Brazil, Peru, Jordan, Algeria, Ghana, Venezuela, Mexico, and Syria alone. Well, let's throw in America. It is the highly secularized countries that tend to fare the best in terms of crime rates. Prosperity, equality, freedom, democracy, women's rights, human rights, educational attainment, and life expectancy. And that's the other thing about Christianity. Trump and the rest of them promoting this whole Christianity thing. There's slavery in the Bible, folks. It's a horror of a book put together by the Romans about a fictitious character, a 2,000-year-old zombie that lives in outer space, who died as a bloody sacrifice to appease its father's anger. Fucking ridiculous. It's narcissistic, sadomasochistic horror. So they're promoting this Bible that's got genocide in it, all sorts of sickness. And they pick out verses, and they can't even live it. I haven't met one Christian that can live it. They're the most judgmental people I've ever met. Love your neighbor. Love your enemies. Do not judge. Pray for those who persecute you. Not one of them. The main teaching about Christianity is love your enemy. Turn the other cheek. You never see that, ever. I went into a coffee shop in Cottonwood this week, and I purposely wore my satanic necklace, which I wear because it represents Leviathan, which is the beast in the unconscious, because I teach shadow work. I help people with dealing with their unconscious. I was all dressed in black, and it's just what I felt like wearing that day. And I sat down, a waitress comes up to me, and the first thing she does, she looks at my necklace, and she goes, "Can I help you?" I go, "Yeah, I would like a latte, thank you." She just walks away, all freaked out and scared. Isn't God supposed to make you stronger? No, God makes you weaker and frightened and scared. Because you don't know shit. You're just living in a fantasy fear land. So another waitress came up and helped me. She was super nice. Loved her. Great. I didn't say anything to her, but I wanted to say, did my satanic symbol scare her away? I like how it triggers people. Because, instead of asking me, gee, why do you wear that? What's that about? It's a symbol. It's a symbol. Although there are exceptions such as Vietnam and China, which have famously poor human rights records, and those nations with the highest rates of religiosity tend to be the most problem-ridden in terms of high violent crimes. I don't know why the cacao is making me want to burp. High infant mortality rates, high poverty rates, and high rates of corruption. Well, just look at India. Along with Christianity, the root of the New Age. It's a horror. What is it with the New Age that they always praise these cultures of horror and death, the Aztecs? I got to read you something. I mean, just to give you a taste. I mean, then you've got Egypt and, slavery and the New Age is all about that. Why? Because they're all about authority. Authority. Worshipping authority. Praising authority. Living according to channeled messages. Living according to ascended masters. The aliens. All this stuff. Having aliens channel. Don't you feel kind of gross that you've got some being you don't even know what it is getting inside your body? It's like, ugh. But it isn't. It's just their imagination. Primitive man imagined that numerous spirits were lurking in the world about him. The spirits were his gods. He had his wind god, mountain god, ocean god, moon god, sun god, and every planet was a god or goddess. There's nothing wrong with having the ascended masters, god or goddesses, as long as you realize they're archetypes inside of you. But human sacrifice to the gods has been a ritual in nearly every society. The Hebrews practiced it religiously. Okay? The Canaanites sacrificed children to Moloch. Infanticide. Infanticide was practiced and still is throughout history. Talk about generational child abuse. The further back you go in history, the worse it gets. And it's bad now. Imagine. Human sacrifice has been practiced in modern times in Rhodesia and India. The Indian Express reported at least 11 ritual murders in India during the 1980s. So this has been a while back. A 12-year-old boy was sacrificed in Rajasthan to ensure the success of a canal about to be dug. The throats of 3 children were slashed by a Hindu mystic, and their blood was offered to the goddess during a full moon to provide the swamis with supernatural powers. Supernatural. The Indian Express wrote, there are people who still believe that blood from a newborn baby will please the goddess and cure infertility in women. According to the Aztec religion, the sun came into existence when the gods gathered in the twilight, and one of the gods threw himself into a huge brazier as a sacrifice. He arose from the furnace, transformed into the sun, but the sun could not move through the heavens until other gods sacrificed their blood to give it life. Nothing could move without life. The sun, born of blood and sacrifice, had to be vitalized by blood and sacrifice. 20,000 human beings were slaughtered and sacrificed to the gods every year to ensure the morning sunrise. The priest stretched the human sacrificial victim out on a sacrificial stone atop the Hill of the Stars. A priest plunged the sacred knife into the victim's chest and twirled the sacred fire stick in the wound. The heart was ripped out of each body with a skillful twist of the holy knife and offered to the gods. The observed fact that the sun did rise each morning after the sacrifices were performed was proof that the human sacrifices worked, and it was a mandate for their continuation. The Aztecs sacrificed children to the rain god by drowning them. There was a special sacrifice to the god of spring. The sacrificial victims were peppered by a shower of arrows, whereupon their sprouting blood rained upon the earth. They were then skinned, and their skins were dyed yellow. The priest wore the human skins as a symbol for the change in the earth's vegetation mantle in the dry season. I could go on and on. It gets gross. We've got Fiji. We've got it just goes on and on. I should do a whole thing, cannibalism. And they're still doing cannibalism in every Catholic church when you eat of the blood of Jesus. Eat his body. And this is practiced all throughout our culture. It's perfectly sane to practice eating a human being cannibalism, drinking the blood and eating the flesh of a religion you are part of, that the very center of it is a bloody human sacrifice. And we have churches all across the world. This is normal. This is why I say, people ask me, what do you think of the human race? I said, I try to keep away from them. I call them the herd. I try to keep away as much as I can. Every now and then I find somebody that's, a bit intelligent, and I enjoy being with them. But it's called, I'm a bit of a misanthropist. There's a lot of beautiful people in this world, usually people that aren't religious. In fact, almost, but then you got people suffering from child abuse that are just, bullies and idiots and assholes. But there's some beautiful people in the world. I like those. Take homicide. According to the United Nations 2011 global study on homicide, of the 10 nations with the highest homicide rates, all were very religious, and many, such as Colombia, Mexico, El Salvador, and Brazil, are among the most theistic nations in the world. Of the nations with the lowest homicide rates, nearly all are very secular, with 7 ranking among the least theistic nations, such as Sweden, Japan, Norway, and the Netherlands. So just translate this into the New Age. What are they pushing now? Corey Good and David Wilcock are pushing the pole shift that's going to kill billions of people in their whole light and love bullshit. It's going to kill billions of people. The sun flares are going to kill billions of people, but those who are part of listening to their BS are going to ascend. See, the New Age is just repackaged religion. That's all it is. Just people can't see it because they're mind controlled, programmed. So they come and listen to people like me who say it as it is. That's why I piss off a lot of people. But if you listen to me, it makes sense. Yeah. Most of the least safe and peaceful nations, conversely, are extremely religious. If a decline in religiosity were the primary cause of social ills, then we would expect those countries that have seen the greatest decline to have the most serious problems, but this is not the case. What about within the United States? According to the latest study from the Pew Research Center, the 10 states that report the highest levels of belief in God are Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Oklahoma, tied with Utah. The 10 states with the lowest levels of belief in God are Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, Alaska, Oregon, and California. Although I despise California. I was born and raised there. Anyway, so you get the whole point there. Now check this out. There are 13 countries where atheism is punishable by death. Atheists living in 13 countries risk being condemned to death just for their beliefs or non-belief. It's actually non-belief. Atheists aren't, the whole point of it is not belief. They just don't buy into it, right? They just don't believe that the tooth fairy is real. According to a new comprehensive report from the International Humanist and Ethical Union out on Tuesday, all 13 countries identified by the study are Muslim majority. Ooh, you're racist. No, shut up. It doesn't matter if it was Muslim or American or Christian or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're looking at data. Data. There's some beautiful Muslims. Not all Muslims have the same type interpretation of the Quran. But there are places in the Middle East that are a horror. The way they treat their children and their women and gay people. The countries that impose these penalties are Afghanistan, Iran, Malaysia, Maldives, Mauritania, I don't know what that is, Nigeria, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Sudan, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. With the exception of Pakistan, those countries all allow for capital punishment against apostasy, the renunciation of a particular religion. Pakistan, meanwhile, imposes the death penalty for blasphemy, which can obviously include disbelief in God. The study's interactive map gives a good broad overview of which countries punish apostasy and blasphemy by death with prison time or place legal restrictions on non-religious speech and thought. As you see it right there. The report is a more comprehensive version of a similar study released last year that identified just 7 countries where atheists faced capital punishment, only half of this year's total. It also found much more widespread discrimination against atheists around the world. Quote, our results show that the overwhelming majority of countries failed to respect the rights of atheists and free thinkers. Basically, another word for atheist is free thinker. You know, free thinking. Noting that laws in some countries prevent atheists from marrying, attending public school, participating as a citizen, holding public office, or just existing at all. No, because you have to have the authority of invisible people in government. You wonder why our world is so screwed up. The authors, citing a Gallup study, estimate that about 13% of the world's population is atheist, while 23% identify as simply not religious. Very small percent of sane people that live in the world. Because of the U.S.'s strong constitutional free speech protections and lack of an official state religion, the country fared moderately well in the report. Ooh, evil America. You know, radical leftists don't want to look at this one. Earning a mostly satisfactory rating. You know, and also you talk about how bad the U.S. is with, you know, environmental pollution. Why don't you go to China? It's just so funny. Some of the people that just, you know, if you don't like it, leave, you know. Why do you think everybody wants to come here? Everybody wants to come here on the planet. We have the most immigration of all walks of life to this planet. White people are actually a minority now. That we skyrocket over China as far as environmental policies. No, let's not look at that. The globalists want to get rid of the United States because it's a powerful nation, so they can be the rulers of the world. I'm all for globalism, except it's globalism through diversity. You know? What makes people strong, what makes strong groups is strong individuals. Not that everybody comes under some dictatorship and some socialist thing where everybody's got group hive mind, you know, and everybody's, you know, don't say that. You're not allowed to say that. Well, you know, people are just all weird, like Catholic nuns sticking their bony finger in your chest, you know. It's not okay to say that. I'm like, fuck you. You know. Sidvich says, no problem being atheist here. Only thing you can't do is marry or baptize with a priest in a church, but it's not a problem because the state marries you and gives out papers. So which countries earned a somewhat elusive free and equal rating from the IHEU? The best ranked countries included Jamaica, Uruguay, Japan, Taiwan, and Belgium. Isn't that neat? Bye, Brandon Young. Would love to have a dialogue on this sometime. Much love, Zzenn. You are the man. Thank you. And so are you. And would love to wish you were sticking around to chime you in so we could have a conversation here. I can do that now, folks. If anybody wants to chime in, we'll put you on the show and put you in a little box here, and we'll have a conversation or whatever. You know, but I'm just getting to a point. Hey, Paranormal Live. Jiggy. I'm getting to a point where I'm not, I don't know if I want to be. One of the reasons why I haven't talked politics is because I'm like, I don't want to deal with, people dealing with wanting to shut me up. And I'm like, you know what? It's just freedom of speech, man. You shut up. Everyone has a right. Same with the New Age. Everybody, look I would never want to stop David Wilcock, like just say you can't talk anymore, or Corey Good. All these people have a right to talk. The best thing I can do is educate people so that they can decide whether they want to follow them or not. Are they bamboozling? Yeah. There's a lot of bamboozle. Okay? I don't think it's ever going to stop. But the smarter you get, the less affected you'll be by it. And the more you'll pass out, you'll pass it around. Yeah, societies without God are more benevolent. This is from The Guardian. Writing sometime around the 10th century BC, the furious author of Psalm 14 thundered against those who say there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Basically saying, because you have not obeyed my authoritarian dictator, you're bad. No, you're bad. Along with the rest of the Christians, especially in politics, that are promoting this bullshit. I don't like the radical left either. I think they're morons. I like intelligent people, and I think we should have secular people, atheists, running the country. Because an atheist is going to go by the secular constitution. The idea is not to, and they shouldn't in there have a political agenda, separate church and state. Simple. But they're not influenced by invisible people in Armageddon. They just understand life. They're science-based. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be led. But the idea that atheists cannot be good without God is bullshit. Let me see if I can find it. I had an article here. Oh, actually, here we go. Misinformation and facts about secularism and religion. Unfortunately, in this recent post, Do We Need Religion to Be Ethical? Thomas Plant, PhD, makes statements that perpetuate common misinformation with regard to religion and secularism. While I doubt that Plant intended the comments to be disparaging towards secular individuals, they most certainly are. In fact, considering that the statements come from an educated man and not some uninformed member of the general public, they're especially troubling. He usually claims that religious people are better citizens and behave better, and without citing any sources, he tells us, research has consistently found that religious people are less likely to engage in criminal behavior, marital infidelity, alcoholism, unprotected sexual activity. In other words, according to him, if you're not religious, you might be a good person, but on average, you are more likely to have these undesirable characteristics. This is a bold assertion that, of course, immediately puts secular individuals on the defensive. Just imagine if the same claims were made against any other minority group. It is precisely claims like these that lead to many Americans having an unfavorable view of atheists and other non-believers. Fortunately for atheists, agnostics, and secular humanists, there is no factual basis for his claim that research has consistently found secular individuals to be more prone to such antisocial behavior. Consider, for example, if there's anything antisocial, is someone who believes in a bloody sacrifice and that you're not saved. Consider, for example, a March 2009 academic article in Sociology Compass that extensively researched the subjects raised by Plant. The article by Phil Zuckerman of Pilzer College is entitled Atheism, Secularity, and Well-Being, How the Findings of Social Science Counter Negative Stereotypes. He analyzed a wide array of data comparing religious nations to... Okay, so we already went through that. And I got to ask you, too, If God loves the Bible Belt, why the hell is the Bible Belt got the most tornadoes in the world? God apparently doesn't like Christians either. Should go up to a Christian and say, God doesn't like you. God does not think you're special. Or like Christopher Hitchens says, God is not great. Within the United States, we see the same pattern. Citing census data, he writes, and within America, the states with the highest murder rates tend to be the highly religious. You know, I've already gone through that. Let me show you something else. Let's just take a look at this. Let's just take a closer look really quick. Oh, here we go. I forgot where I put it. Oh, here we go. I forgot where I put it. Okay. All right, here we go. Some people don't know this. What is atheism? This is from American Atheist. Atheism is not an affirmative belief that there is no God, or nor does it answer any other question about what a person believes. It is simply a rejection of the assertion that there are gods. Atheism is too often defined incorrectly as a belief system. To be clear, atheism is not a disbelief in gods or a denial of gods. It is a lack of belief in gods. Older dictionaries define atheism as a belief that there is no God. Clearly, theistic influence taints these definitions. The fact that dictionaries define atheism as there is no God betrays the monotheistic influence. Without the monotheistic influence, the definition would at least read there are no gods. Atheism is not a belief system, nor is it a religion. While there are some religions that are atheistic, certain sects of Buddhism, or for example, that does not mean that atheism is a religion. To put it in a more humorous way, if atheism is a religion, then not collecting stamps is a hobby. Despite the fact that atheism is not a religion, atheism is protected by many of the same constitutional rights that protect religion. That, however, does not mean that atheism is itself a religion. And if you just look at a religion, atheism is categorically the opposite of categorically everything that is religion. It's funny when people say it's a religion. Same when they go, science is a religion. Well, maybe there are some scientists that have weirdo beliefs, but the nature of science, the scientific method, is the opposite of belief in religion. Some groups will use words like agnostic, humanist, secular, bright, freethinker, or any number of other terms to self-identify. Those words are perfectly fine as a self-identifier, but we strongly advocate using the word that people understand, atheist. Don't use those other terms to disguise your atheism or to shy away from a word that some think has a negative connotation. We should be using the terminology that is most accurate and that answers the question that is actually being asked. We should use the term that binds us all together. So atheism is what atheism is. Define free thinker, define humanist, define agnosticism. But he's saying don't use it as a way to hide atheism because you don't understand what the term means. If you call yourself a humanist, a free thinker, a bright, or even a cultural Catholic, or even a spiritual atheist, and lack belief in a God, you are an atheist. Don't shy away from the term. Embrace it. Agnostic isn't just a weaker version of being an atheist. It answers a different question. Atheism is about what you believe. Agnosticism is about what you know. Not all religious people are atheists, but in recent surveys, the Pew Research Center has grouped atheists, agnostics, and the unaffiliated into one category. The so-called nones are the fastest growing religious demographic in the United States. Pew separates out atheists from agnostics and the non-religious, but that is primarily a function of self-identification. Only about 5% of people call themselves atheists. But if you ask, and that should be scary alone, all by itself, only 5%. And you wonder why this country in the world is a mess. We got people in government that are talking about a 2,000-year-old Jewish zombie. It's ridiculous. I love Candace Owens. I think she's got a lot of good stuff to say. I think she's great for the African American community. She's making them stronger in the inner cities. She's empowering them, teaching them how to fish, not making them little, weaker and victims. But the thing I don't like about her is she's peddling a violent, horrible religion surrounded around human sacrifice. I'd love to have a conversation with her. Oh, so a recent survey says that 26 of Americans may be atheists, so it's growing, which is great. The only common thread that ties all atheists together is a lack of belief in God. Some of the best debates we have ever had have been with fellow atheists. This is because atheists do not have a common belief system, sacred scripture, or atheist pope. This means atheists often disagree on many issues and ideas. Atheists come in a variety of shapes, colors, beliefs, convictions. Oh, gee, it sounds like free speech. Ooh, that's a sin. This is from Atheist Alliance International. Why be an atheist? Atheism is very simple yet widely misunderstood. The word atheism comprises the word theism with the prefix a. So let's break it down. Theism is the belief in a god or gods. The prefix a means without or lack of. Therefore, atheism means without a belief in God or gods or the lack of belief. Yeah. So this is what my whole book was about. Permission to be human. You can be a human being living on the earth with ethics, with integrity, with virtues, with everything that is assigned to spirituality without the spiritual story. Rah, 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 rah. Memento Mori, what do you think of my book? I like it. It's really good. See, he likes it too. Getting ready to publish the 3rd edition, folks. So now let's move forward with this whole idea that we live in a Christian nation. Absolute buffoonery. I just read some quotes from the founding church fathers that said Christianity is a horror. It is, our Constitution is a secular document. In God We Trust didn't show up till here we go. In God You Trust doesn't mean what you think it does. The use of the phrase "in God We Trust" in U.S. currency first appeared in 1864. It's a perfect way to control people, folks. Because you know who the God is? The gods are the alpha primates at the top of the food chain that are controlling the masses. That's how it works. It was added to the Pledge of Allegiance as part of the cultural war on godless communism. A 1955 congressional vote elected to place the motto on all U.S. money and completely avoided the separation between church and state. It's fascinating how this shit how they get away with it. But everything that you see in Washington, all the symbols, the obelisks, all of this stuff is points to Satanism in many ways. But even Satanism is an atheist religion. Completely atheist. A lot of people don't know that. And they're not about human sacrifice. Of course, you've got dumb primates that take this sort of thing and go out and do stupid things. But if you look at the actual tenets of Anton LaVey, he says, do not hurt children or animals. So all the so-called Satanists that are out there sacrificing animals have nothing to do with Satanism. So, again, all of this stuff, people get stuck on the symbols. They don't inquire because they just go by what they feel and they want to be lazy and go into black and white thinking. Because you know why? Thinking is hard work. And if you're in the New Age, you're in your ego. which has nothing to do with the word ego, which is center of self. If you think you're not in your heart, you're in your ego. This is just a way of manipulating people in the New Age, thanks to Eckhart Tolle. Oh, you're in your ego. You're really in your head. Really? Sounds to me like you're in your head. What do you mean? Because you just told me I'm in my head. Sounds very heady. Ocean Space says, you are smart on Satanism. You blew up my world a week ago. I love you as a new fan. Oh, thank you. And I'm glad you're here. Silly McChilly says, can Kundalini awakening get stuck halfway on your spine? Yes, it can. Yeah, people don't understand so many, it's like, look into these things. The thing about, let me tell you, you want to find the truth? Look in the darkness. There's a reason for that, folks. There's a reason why things are demonized by the powers that be. There's a reason why that. There's a reason why there's light and why moths are attracted to the flame. Demolishing the rights founding myth. America was never a Christian nation. This is from Salon. I reported last year nothing did more to elect Donald Trump than the belief in America as a Christian nation. And I will agree. Okay. Now, it's not to say that Christians don't do good things. I'll tell you one thing, what Christians do much better than the New Age does is they'll visit the sick. They'll go to children's cancer hospitals. You won't see a New Ager do that. No, they'll just talk about how they're healing the whole world in their fantasy land. But the average Christian, like, Candace Owens, again, which I totally dig. She's great for the African-American community. The problem I have with her is she believes in a 2,000-year-old Jewish zombie, and she's going to bring that shit right. She brings that shit right into politics. Get that shit the fuck out of politics. Same with you, Trump. And Trump, stop repeating yourself. Man, I think he's done a lot of good for our country, but God, stop repeating yourself. By that measure, nothing could be more timely than a book that states that myth head on and fundamentally destroys it. There's a good book called The Founding Myth, Why Christian Nationalism is Un-American. In fact, I'm thinking about getting that. Siddell is far from the first author to address the historical myths and confusions of political philosophy that sustain Christian nationalism. But no one has written a book quite like this before because of its sweep, its depth, its viewpoint, and its tone. The founding myth goes far beyond debunking the false history that Christian nationalists advance to a detailed examination of how biblical principles are fundamentally at odds with our constitutional order. The rare exceptions at the time of our founding, biblical support for slavery and subjugation of women, do not reflect how we view the Constitution today. And, I'd just like to say, I love the whole idea of a one world globalist, we're all primates on the same planet, but I think, instead of, I think we should, help Mexico become a strong culture like America. America is globalism. America is the whole world. It's funny that people that, shit on America, it's the one country that's got everybody here. So I like the idea, but I don't want to go into a global one world order with an oligarchy that wants to tell me what I can and can't say and wants to take away my individual rights. Got to keep the freedom, folks. Except for religions and cults that are harming people. Don't interfere with other people, that are going to harm, religion. Have your religion. But if your religion says, sacrifice humans, don't, that's bullshit. If your religion says kill gays, that's bullshit. So no, you cannot do this. Have your invisible person in your little temple or church and behave yourself. My neck is just getting totally tweaked. So the fact that the Constitution has evolved and was designed to do so points to another sharp contrast with the unchanging edicts of the Bible. Yeah, "In God We Trust" was added later. Oh, what was I think it was this one that I passed by. Conservatives who so proudly tout their fealty to the Constitution want to trash our founding document by violating the First Amendment in hopes of establishing a Christian nation. This is precisely what the Constitution prohibits. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition government for a redress of grievances. How terribly ironic that the louder Christians protest against the excesses of Islam, the more they agitate for Christian excess. We really need to stop this ridiculous argument about being a Christian nation. If there should be any doubt, let us listen to the founding fathers themselves. This is from Thomas Jefferson, letter to John Adams. The day will come when the mystical generation of Jesus by the Supreme Being in the womb of a virgin will be classed with the fable of the generation of Minerva in the brain of Jupiter. But we may hope that the dawn of reason and freedom of thought in the United States will do away with this artificial scaffolding. And like I read earlier, this is worth repeating. Thomas Jefferson said, I have examined all the known superstitions of the word, and I do not find in one or particular superstition of Christianity one redeeming feature. They are all alike founded on fables and mythology. Millions of innocent men, women, and children, since the introduction of Christianity, have been burnt, tortured, fined, and imprisoned. What has been the effect of this coercion? To make one half of the world fools and the other half hypocrites, to support roguery and error all over the earth. Islam, the dangerous aspects of Islam are where Christianity was in the Dark Ages, in my opinion. I mean, that's pretty factual. Not all of Islam. Different parts of Islam have different interpretations of the Quran, and some of them are very chill. But there's other interpretations of the Quran that are nasty. Kill gays. Treat your women horrible. Child abuse is really bad there. The hereditary religion. You shouldn't be teaching this shit to your kids until they're older and say, this is what I believe. See if that's what they want. But this hereditary religion it's child abuse. I said it in my first book, Permission to be Human. It's child abuse. Shouldn't be teaching any of it to them. Excluding spirituality. Don't teach them the fucking Arcturians and, the Blue Avians and all this bullshit. It's child abuse, in my opinion. Anybody who's teaching their kids Blue Avians are abusing their children. So you don't have the outright in Christianity murdering people. You don't have that. Nevertheless, you still have the programming. And this mixing with this, again, where did we get this? Who's not understanding the separation of church and state? This is why I have enjoyed the Satanic Temple. Satanic Temple is something to watch because they're making a strong point. He said very clearly, if they take down the 10 Commandments from a government building, he has no need to put up the Baphomet. But if you're going to do this, then we should have every other religion represented. No, not with the Christian right. Because they only think that that unless you're a Christian, you can't be a moral person. You cannot do anything that's good, which is an utter fantasy. The fact is the opposite. Absolute opposite. And you think New Age is any different? If you're a New Ager and you're a spiritual person, you don't think that there's subtle tones that you're not in the in crowd? Think again. Especially when, people, they like to love you like they're feeling sorry for you. By erecting a privately donated Ten Commandments monument on Capitol grounds while refusing the placement of a satanic monument, the state engages in illegal viewpoint discrimination, argues the Satanic Temple. After nearly a year since the destruction of the first installation of Arkansas's controversial Ten Commandments, toppled by a self-described born-again Christian, a replacement monument will be installed tomorrow in the Little Rock Capitol grounds. Litigation from groups who feel that the overtly religious monument is unconstitutional and or discriminatory is immediately forthcoming. Having offered a monument of their own in honor of pluralism and religious freedom, the Satanic Temple now intends to sue the state of Arkansas, arguing that the rejection of their monument establishes unconstitutional religious preferences by the state. As soon as other invested parties file their lawsuits disputing the constitutionality of the Ten Commandments monument, we will file an intervenor, essentially merging the cases, the Satanic Temple spokesperson and co-founder Lucian Graves explains. I had to join the Satanic Temple just because, as long as there's not extremist leftists in there, just fucking dumbasses, fine with Democrats that are intelligent. But again, I'm more of a independent liberal or just a free thinker, whatever label you want to put on it, but I am definitely liberal, definitely independent. But again, lazy people like black and white thinking. But I like the idea of using the concept, the antinomian concept of Satan, because it's the last thing that the Christians want. I like the idea. Maybe I'll start my own movement. I don't know. But I love the idea. How about the Order of the Holy Butt? We want a whole statue of the Order of the Holy Butt. Just start this religion. You guys will join. We'll put out cards to everybody. We'll pray to the ascended midget masters in outer space. I actually did a whole video on this, folks. The whole history of the great ascended masters. They're little people, and it was all about the butt, the great butt in the sky. So we start a thing like that and go, see if we get IRS to tax-free status with the IRS, and then we'll all go on to one of the state capitals, and we'll drive up with a big butt. We'll say, this is the religion of the Order of the Holy Butt. And we want it right there next to the Ten Commandments. What's wrong with the butt? Well, the butt's bad. Well, everybody has a butt. Well, we can't have a butt here. Why not? Did you take a crap this morning? Yeah. Do you like women's butts, especially sexy ones? Yeah. Do you sit on your ass? Yeah. Then what's wrong with a butt? Maybe God is a big butt in the sky. Well, we can't have it there with the Ten Commandments that order everybody to obey them. We can't have it near a religion that's centered on bloody human sacrifice and obedience to an invisible father figure in outer space. We can't have that. No. We can't have a butt. Well, folks, I think I have reached the moment where we bring this take your questions and comments. Share your thoughts, friends. Sit. Share. Sidvich says, hey, Unspirituality. The clowns already started today in the U.S. Oh, they did. Oh, let's take a look at this. I knew it. It's a good movie, though, folks. I mean, come on. Joaquin Phoenix, he's like Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, he can do no wrong. I think he's a freak, but he can do no wrong. Family terrorized by creepy clown in Iowa. Police have been investigating the case of a real-life Pennywise who has been menacing a mother and son. The creepy clown phenomenon seems to have been enjoying something of a resurgence this year, with several stories emerging of mysterious clowns unnerving unwary residents across the U.S. Then you also have the movie It that came out, which I didn't think the remake was very good. The latest incident, which was reported to police in Fort Madison, occurred on September 25th and involved a woman who claimed that a man in a clown costume was trying to attack her. I wonder if reaction to the movie Joker, people in clown costumes.
These pictures should match.
Quiet. Quiet. Quiet, you. She just... Ha! Joker costumes banned across 50 U.S. cinemas. The DC Comics movie, which stars Joaquin Phoenix as the titular role, has already attracted criticism for its violent scenes and from victims of Aurora's shooting in 2012. 12 people. What is it about Hollywood? The whole leftist group, Hollywood and all them, all want to take our guns away, but they're the biggest promoters of guns. What the fuck is that about? Here's the thing. You just got to be stupid. Just agree to be a dumbass. That's all. Just be dumb and you'll be fine. The one group, the one that promotes the most guns on the planet is the ones that want to take our guns away. Fucking stupid. Families of the victims since wrote an open letter to film distributor Warner Brothers calling for them to take action against gun violence. As a result, Landmark Theaters, the U.S. largest independent cinema chain, has since extended its ban on customers and employees. I wouldn't be surprised, of all of them is Antifa. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Antifa jumps on this wagon, because when I watched the movie, that's exactly what the whole story was. Political. Full-blown political. Where is... Oh. What was I reading? Yeah, it was fully political. You had the white elite, right? And then you had the rebel, and then all the followers. They all look like Antifa. There was a video, I don't know if you saw this, of Antifa with this old lady in a walker. I don't know if you guys saw that. This old lady in a walker, right? Walking across the street, and there's like 5 of them around her, just yelling at her, like, yeah. And she's like 90 years old. It's just unbelievable, these people. Why don't you just vote and get involved in politics and make your point? And I hate what's going on, and calling everybody racist. Even black people get called racist. It's unbelievable. I don't like the way these people treat people. I mean, just people that have done nothing. I've seen them harm old people. It's just these juveniles are just so messed up. And I'm going to be like, if I start talking more politics, can you imagine? Like, I'm totally against Christianity, yet in many ways I support a lot of the beliefs of the right, or the stance of the rights, and also of the left. Not far left. Far left are morons and idiots and Maxine Water owns she lives in a $6 million mansion. I'm talking about Democrats, real ones. But I'm an independent thinker. Could you imagine if I really got into this? I wouldn't be I don't think I'd be very popular. Civic says, that Google all is recording you and putting your recordings on the web. You will find all recordings on your profile page. That's fine. Here's the thing. There comes a point where you just look at, do you believe in freedom of speech or not? Are you going to bow and shut up? Are you going to speak up? There's plenty of people on YouTube having their opinions, political opinions. So, I think there's certain rules that you can't break, but you know what I mean? It's like, really? I'm going to shut up? Line up and shut up? If there's one person on this planet, the reason why I haven't got involved politically is because I've had my hands full with the new age. So I haven't. The last thing in fact, the fact that, there is this thing about shutting up makes me want to do it more. We got to fight for our freedoms because once they're taken away, they're very hard to get back. John Tanner says, Arctic, I can kind of get that, but it just has such a weird association to it. Like supposed elites that supposedly do weird shit with it. Arctic Sun says, America's a strange country. Arctic Sun says, like the moon have an impact on the water, it also impacts our mind. As far as I understand Satanism, you don't have a church. It's an individual path. A person chooses to follow principles. Listen, the reason why I like the principles of Satanism, I've always drawn left-hand path, Aleister Crowley, but it's basically the will. But for me, being raised a Christian, so it makes sense for me to like the left-hand path stuff because it's all about your will and against the whole, obey paradigm, the obey me. And that's why, antinomianism is the rebellious path. That's why, I am really a rebel in so many ways, and it served me well. But if you just take your goggles off and read the Satanic Bible, you'll find that there's a lot of stuff in there that's silly and baloney you don't want. You'll also find some actually very brilliant articles in there. And the tenets are actually all about the right to be human and live your own will and enjoy the pleasures of the flesh, because that's actually what really is. I also like a lot of other perspectives. But again, people are lazy and want to go into black and white and put everybody in a box. They're just lazy people, intellectually lazy. Planet Lupus says, oh yeah, that music was about a week ago. Hold on. Fascination Street with Jimmy, Mike, and Sarah says, is there another concert after Fascination Street tonight? I'm probably going to do another live stream tonight. Or tomorrow, but maybe tonight. John Tenner says, so Zzenn, what's the point to the satanic church thing and why are you so into it? Is it the rebellious thing or do you get some other kind of spiritual or psychological benefit from it? Yeah, well, I just explained that. You know what I mean? Being raised a Christian, it fits for me. But not just that. Again, I eat the grapes and spit out the seeds. But I would say the tenets of the left-hand path, which is, Austin Osman Spare, chaos magic, all of this makes more sense to me. The nature of the universe is chaos, and reality is hardcore. I'm not into the fuzzy light and love bullshit. I also like sort of the dark type stuff, H.P. Lovecraft. I love the spooky. I have pictures all over my house of, gargoyles and shit like that. It's my thing. I dig it. It's about the unconscious, the beast of the unconscious. It's my thing. You got to follow your thing. You know what I mean? But I think Anton LaVey I think he had some really brilliant things to say. I think he was a very courageous person in the face of Christian fundamentalism. And I think it was necessary to have a antinomian side of the coin to break all this shit open. What are you going to follow? You're going to follow Christians, blood sacrifice religion? Or are you going to follow something that talks about you living your life and your true will and accomplishing things in your life? You know what I mean? But again, you want to find the truth, look in the darkness. There's a reason why things are in the darkness. Because in the darkness, you'll gain more power. But power's bad because the religions shit on your own will. They shit on your power. They want you to be obedient little slaves. Glad you like the music. I actually unpublished that. Maybe I should republish it. So, John, I hope that answers your question, but feel free to, respond and Planet Lupus said, is teaching children about Jesus abuse too? Yes, it is child abuse. It's called hereditary religion. It all depends on how you inform children about Jesus, Blue Avian, Santa Claus, and the Easter Bunny. Yeah. And so, what do you want to teach your children? Fantasy, or you want to teach them the real world? Nature, the love of nature, the wind, the beauty. They already have imaginary friends, but you start teaching them this baloney as a parent. Then they start believing in this stuff, and they haven't reached a cognitive mind yet. They haven't reached a time, an age where they're able to actually really think about stuff and have developed a self that can be, this is me and this is you, These are my beliefs and those are your beliefs. Eden Daniel Bach says, Antifa, sorry, no thanks. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Arctic Sun says, Luciferian and the Temple of Set, and I think there's many unnamed covenant out there. Yeah, the Temple of Set, I enjoy the Temple of Set. I enjoy Luciferianism. I enjoy Luciferian witchcraft. I'm very, I have witchcraft in my bloodline. It's my thing. But it doesn't mean it's your thing, and it doesn't mean that people have to go, oh, Zzenn is bad. Think for yourself, people. If you have your own way in the things that you like, let's say you like surfing. Well, I happen to like mountain bike riding. How's that one? Oh, no, Zenn's bad because it's not the way I like it. It's my thing. Definitely what you're going to get from me, folks, is I'm not pretentious. I'm not creating this front for you guys. Sure, some of the stuff I say, I'm going to lose my audience. Some of my audience, oh, well. I value freedom of speech. I value authenticity. I value being me. And I hope that gets through to people that, that want that mirrored back to them. So Civet says, Luciferianism, the Temple of Tet, and I think there's many unnamed covenant out there. Black magicians often operate alone, and some have a tendency to sacrifice animals. Yeah, stupid ones do. But in the actual left-hand path, there's nothing in the path that talks about sacrificing animals or people. It's about following your will and do harm to no one. Unless someone jumps into your space and does harm to you, do not turn the other cheek. You hit them hard back, which is what anyone should do. It would have any self-respect for themselves. You should have a boundary. You don't have to physically attack them, but you can set your boundary really strong and tell them to fuck off. Unless you want to be a Jesus slave and turn the other cheek and bend over, grab your ankles, and hop backwards, like all the New Agers do. This is why they call it, that's why I call it bullshit. The New Age is bullshit. Because everybody is hopping backwards, assuming the position while the New Agers insert, you chose to come here. You are a spiritual being in a human meat suit. So Arctic Sun says, maybe I'm wrong, but isn't Satanism a broad term in sense of sacrifice? Not every black magician or Satanist say, as I've understood it. No, it's absolutely the opposite. Christians are about human sacrifice because they worship a human sacrifice. You'll never find that in the basic tenets of Satanism. In fact, you'll find the opposite. Anton LaVey said, do not harm children, do not harm animals. People who have never read the Satanic Bible but just have vague ideas about it don't know this. Can you find cults that do this? Of course you can. Human animals are without Satanism, look at the horror in the world. You don't need Satanism to do awful things, just like you don't need Christianity to do good things. It's the nature of the human beast. Decide what you want. Do you want to do these sick things and end up in a cage the rest of your life? No, I think that would be stupid. I like what Anton LaVey said. He said, be intelligent. One of the biggest sins of Satanism is stupidity. Well, let's throw Satanism out. How about just being how about atheism and being a human being? I think one of the stupidest things that you can do is be stupid. Not use common sense. Think for yourself. Look at your life. Get away from black and white thinking. I am, if you want to boil it down, am a contrarian, as Christopher Hitchens talked about. I walk the antinomian path. It's the path of the rebel. I go against authority structures that I think that cause people to get into obey mode. Obey. I think you should live your own will and hurt no one. Do not hurt an animal. Don't be stupid. Don't be an idiot. Align with the laws of the land. There's a reason why they're there. You can call it obey all you want, but you can choose to live according to the laws and see the value of the people who get up every morning and risk their lives to protect our towns and cities. There's a reason. Just like you have rules in your house. Okay, any other questions, folks, or comments? Sidvich says, I want to go to bed with that video of the day. You know why I unpublished the video? I just didn't think the sound was very good, and I'd like to produce a better thing. But you know what? Maybe I'll republish it. Maybe I'll just, it's still here. Maybe I'll just do it right now. I'll just do it really quick. But yeah, I really like Candace Owens. Big fan. As Pete Peterson. He's a Christian. I like a lot of stuff he has to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm a free thinker. People want to put me in a box. You know? Two Christians that I like what they have to say. Arctic Sun says, I never learned more than when I isolated myself for 4 years to get sober and figure out my depression and anxiety. I believe I countered a lot of the darkness. Yeah. And what does the darkness mean? What does it mean, darkness? It sounds to me, yeah, that which was unconscious. I would say that you brought to consciousness what was unconscious. Well, today's a long live stream. And am I going to do one tonight? I don't know. I might. I'm kind of feeling I might. And maybe we'll talk about Billy Meyer or something even more interesting. But there's a lot of crazy stuff about the Billy Meyer, the biggest UFO story in the world, in the history of UFO lore. And I also started live streams over at Zzenn Temple. So I have one cooking on that end. So yeah, I'll go ahead and republish it. I'm glad, I'm really glad everybody loved it. I'm really glad. Again, I just felt a little funny because it wasn't high quality, but there it is, folks. It has officially been republished. And I'll even post it here. Here we go. It is posted there. Michael Pontillas. Hey, Michael. Haven't seen you in a while. How to unblock the throat chakra. I would say stop trying to unblock it. Just say hello to it and let it do what it's doing. Simple as that. Trust it. Something happening there. Stop trying to force it or control it or figure out a way to fix it. Talk to it. See what it wants to do. Say hello to it. Be there. Focus on it, just like you'd focus on somebody like a friend of yours. Don't try to fix the friend. Just listen to it. Be there with it. That's my advice. I wouldn't do anything else other than that. Arctic Sun says, use your voice, do mantras. Try that. Try different things. Silly McChilly says, I have a feeling my kundalini is stuck in my neck. Well, that's interesting. There's two people that have that feeling. I would say the same thing to you. Be with it and trust it. If something is stuck in kundalini, tension is the doorway. So if something's, stuck there, by focusing on it and being with it, it will peak and it will plume. The idea is it to peak, it's usually at the most tense part of that people tend to, react to it. But if you can just breathe and be with it, trust it, say hello. Don't try to change it. Focus on the feeling of it. Just be there with the whole feeling of it. Be there. Just like you'd be present with a friend that's going through something. Don't try to fix the friend. Just be there, because when you listen to somebody, it changes them. It heals them. Be there. And do not try to change it. Do not try to fix it. And allow it. It's just like taking your hand out of a jar. You're holding on, right? But if you just let go, you can take your hand out of the jar. It's the same thing. Yeah, Planet Lupus says exactly it. Awareness will set a motion of change. You've got to let it come to life. You said it better than me. Very, very well put. Good. So, Michael, it sounds like you've got some other input here. So good. All good input. Again, by the way, with this new platform that I have, anybody who wants to jump on and have a conversation with me, wants to share something, all I have to do is send you a little link, follow the link, and boom, you're on with me. So I think that would be fun. Some of you folks. In fact, it was, who was it that jumped on at the Zzenn temple side of things? Last week jumped on and shared a story. I forget who it was. So keep in mind, those of you who have subscribed to Zzenn Temple, the live teaching has begun over there. So I always, if you are part of the group, Facebook group, please, on the Facebook group, fill out all the questions, agree to the rules, or you will not be accepted. And it isn't always me that's doing the accepting. So keep in mind, you got to do that, but that's where I make the announcements. Follow me on Twitter as well. And everything is in the description box. So if you want to know when they're going to be. So if I do one tonight, I will post it there today. And it'll probably be at 5 o'clock tonight, Arizona time. And we'll see what we're going to do then. All right, folks. Well, listen, as always, I've had a great time with you guys. This was one of the longer live streams. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please smash that like button if you liked the video. I do appreciate so much. Sidvich says he doesn't have Facebook. Then follow me on Twitter. And you'll get the links. Also, it's you should be notified on this channel. Some people say they don't get notified, but you should. Those of you who, yeah. So, and again, do sign the petition to demand that Corey Good ask the Blue Aliens for a cure for children's cancer. It is in the description box underneath every video. Thank you guys so much. Big hugs and loves to you, and maybe we'll see you later on. We'll see you later.